Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel for another episode of my podcast. First off, before we get into today's topic of my show, that I want you to go back and watch episode 1, where I talked about the conference championships from last weekend that impacted the college football playoff selections. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. We're on the road to 100 subscribers. Right now I'm at 43, just taking it video by video, and it's nothing easy, but one thing I learned is take stuff day by day, one day at a time. So we going up, only up from here. Now, on to the show. So first I want to start by saying we have some breaking news from this past weekend. I don't know if some of y'all heard. Deion Sanders, the head coach for Jackson State University, is now going to be the new head coach for the Colorado Buffalo. Now, when I first heard about it, I was like, I don't think he's going to take it, because he going to stay there at least till his sons are done. Shador, who plays starting quarterback for the team, and Shallow, who's a starting safety at Jackson State. I'm thinking he gonna stay at least till they're gone on to the NFL. But Deion said something interesting, that he got a point that when it comes to coaching, that you either gonna get elevated or terminated. And I knew that he was never gonna stay at Jackson State forever, and seeing a lot of fans turn against him just because he want to elevate his coaching career, and that's kind of ungrateful in a way, in my opinion. So, let me know what y'all think about that, about the fans at Jackson State turning on Deion just because he's taking the job at Colorado and moving on to a Power 5 school that's in the Pac-12. Now, at his time at Jackson State, Deion went 26-5 in 3 seasons at Jackson State. One of those seasons was shortened due to COVID, but he still ended up winning a pretty amount of good games in the spring. That was a spring shortened season. And then last year, 2021, he won their first SWAC championship in who knows how long, and made it all the way to the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta, even though they lost to South Carolina State. This year, won it again, back-to-back SWAC championships. So that's two SWAC championships in 3 years of him being there at Jackson State, 26-5. And he also did stuff like sign Travis Hunter, who's a 5-star recruit in the ESPN 300, rated number 2 overall. And he brought him to Jackson State over schools like Florida State and Georgia. So Deion can really recruit. It's not like that he can't recruit. He can recruit. So, and he also paid for them a new football facility. He took out money from his check that Jackson State was paying him to be able to buy the team a new football facility that looks real nice too, by the way. He had NFL scouts coming to the practices almost every week. So getting his players looked at, he pretty much putting his players on the map. And he also signed players like Kevin Coleman, a 4-star receiver in the same class as Travis Hunter in ESPN 300. So he got 2 highly rated recruits in the ESPN 300 in the 2022 class to come to Jackson State. Now, last year he also won the Eddie Robinson Award, Coach of the Year in the SWAC. He led Jackson State to the first ever 11-0 regular season record in school history. So mind you, before Deion got there, Jackson State was kind of irrelevant. Not saying, of course I heard of them and watched them play before, but they never had an undefeated season ever in their school history till Deion got there and changed that for them. Now, what I think Deion's going to do at Colorado, I feel like because he already he already jumped into it. He already got 5-star recruits committing to him in the 2025 class, 24. He got players in the transfer portal. He's recruiting already. So by next year, I feel like Colorado, because Colorado only won one game. For those who don't know, I know you don't watch Colorado because they play in the Pac-12. They only won one game out of 12 games. One game. So, yeah, they wasn't a really good football team at all. And his first meeting with his players, he told them they can go ahead and jump in the transfer portal because the same guys he coached at Jackson State, he's bringing them to Colorado. That includes his son, Shador, and Shallow, Travis Hunter, and possibly Kevin Coleman. So he's bringing players that he coached at Jackson State and recruited and bringing them to Colorado. Now, he's also going to finish off at Jackson State, so he's going to coach in the Cricket Holiday Bowl in Atlanta against North Carolina Central. Now, so he's not going to leave Jackson State high and dry. He's going to finish what he started, and then he's going to move on to Colorado. So he told his players straight up, they can either stay at Jackson State or jump in the portal. But the portal by now has when the last time I checked, has over 1,000 players after the first day opened up in the portal. So, hey, that's up to them. But I feel like Colorado will make a bowl game next year with Deion, because Deion's an excellent recruiter. He's gonna have that roster completely different, and I give them I feel like by year 2, year 3, definitely year 3, he's gonna be competing for a Pac-12 championship, and by the time year 3 happens, I feel like Colorado could make the college football playoff, possibly. So, yeah, like I was surprised. I thought he would stay at Jackson State at least till his sons are gone. But hey, taking an opportunity like Colorado and making something big out of it, I don't know. I thought he would probably maybe wait until Florida State job is open because that's his alma mater. But Deion sees the challenge at Colorado. He wants to change that program. He wants to get it back on the map. And I feel like he will do that back on the map. He will be able to maybe possibly out-recruit schools like Oregon. So I feel like in the Pac-12, he's going to have a top recruiting class in that conference. With USC and UCLA leaving, he will be able to definitely challenge to win a Pac-12 championship in that conference within 2-3 years. I give it at least 2-3 years for him to completely turn that program around. Next year they will win. They will go to a bowl game and be very competitive. And yeah, that's our take on Deion right there. And it's shocking for him to leave Jackson State, but he did a lot for that school, and I feel like they should definitely be grateful because he put them on the map and showed them what they can be. He showed the players what they can be on and off the field. Men, you get entrepreneurs, anything. He did all that for them. So, and I'm pretty sure them players are grateful for him, and the ones that are going to follow him to Colorado will continue to do that. So, next up. So, like I said, I did the conference championship predictions, did my take on all of them. And the college football selection show was the next day, that Sunday. So if y'all haven't seen the top 4 teams in the college football playoffs, they are Georgia, who's 13-0, the SEC champion, Michigan, who's 13-0, repeating as Big Ten champions, TCU 12-1, but they lost to Kansas State 31-28 in the Big 12 championship. And Ohio State, they didn't make it to the Big Ten championship, but they only had one loss, and that was to the Big Ten champion Michigan, even though that was in a lopsided loss because Michigan dominated in the second half of that game. Looking outside are Alabama and Tennessee at 5 and 6. Alabama at 5 and Tennessee at 6. So that means Georgia will be playing Ohio State, as Georgia the number 1 seed, Ohio State the number 4 seed, and TCU, the number 3 seed, will be playing Michigan, the number 2 seed. So, and Georgia and Ohio State will be playing in the Peach Bowl in Atlanta, semifinal on December 31st, 8 p.m. Michigan will be playing TCU in the Fiesta Bowl semifinal on the same day at earlier on at 4 p.m. Now, what I think about these Final Four, I feel like they got it right because Georgia obviously dominated the whole year. When the college football playoff first came out, they beat Tennessee, who was ranked number 1, and they dominated them the whole game, literally. Even I picked Tennessee to win that game, but Georgia dominated, and Hendon Hooker didn't look like a Heisman candidate. So Georgia's the clear number 1 in this. Michigan, I feel like Michigan earned it. They beat Ohio State, who was ranked number 2, dominated them. I thought Ohio State was going to win that game, but Michigan played real well on defense, dominated. Their quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, I didn't think he'd be able to throw the ball the way he did. I thought they mostly run it, even though Blake Corum, who's their best player, was out of that game. He tried to give it a go, but he could not continue to play. And he's out for the rest of the season. But they was able to throw the ball effectively, play great defense, and were able to get a win over Ohio State for the second straight year in a row. They said it was the first time Michigan beat Ohio State at Ohio State since 2000 and somewhere between 2001, 2, or 7, somewhere around there. I think 2000, early 2000s. And of course, TCU, I think TCU deserved to get in over Alabama because they only had one loss, and that one loss came in their conference championship game. TCU was undefeated all the way to that point. Plus, when they lost to Kansas State is a top 10 ranked team. So and it wasn't a blowout. They only lost by 3 points, 31-28. So that's a close game. Losing, you can't punish TCU for playing an extra game in their conference championship when Alabama didn't even win the SEC West or made the SEC championship game. Now, do I think Alabama was better? Yeah, but they don't deserve it. If it's 2024, that's when the expansion happens when 12 teams. So if it was in the 12-team format of the college football playoff, then yeah, Alabama deserves to get in. But TCU earned the right to get in. Now Ohio State, this one maybe you could argue, but I still feel like Ohio State deserved it because Ohio State was ranked 5th and Alabama was ranked 6th before this past week's final college football playoff poll came out. And Ohio State only had one loss, which came in the last game of the season. Alabama had 2 losses already, so I don't think a 2-loss team deserves to just jump over Ohio State when Ohio State was ranked ahead of them. And these teams, I think, I'm not going to give my predictions right now of who's going to win these semifinals and advance to the national championship and win it all, but I will let y'all know that I think at least I feel like Michigan and TCU could be a good game right there. So I feel like watch out for that one right there. The Georgia Ohio State one, I don't know how to, at this point I have to look more at it. Maybe study it when you watch film highlights or other games during the regular season and see what I think how this matchup will go with two Heisman Trophy candidates and C.J. Stroud and Stetson Bennett. But Ohio State defense, I don't know. I just don't know. But those are the top 4 teams in the college football playoff: Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and Ohio State. Georgia will play Ohio State in the Peach Bowl. Michigan will play TCU in the Fiesta Bowl. 2 semifinal matchups on New Year's Eve, 4 p.m. Eastern, and then 8 p.m. Eastern. Next, I will talk about how TCU and Ohio State were ranked over Alabama. Like I said, TCU was 12-0 in the regular season. They was ranked number 3 in the college football playoff by the time they made it to the Big 12 championship game. Now TCU lost to Kansas State 31-28, So that's a close game. But TCU did beat Kansas State in the regular season 38-28. So they they beat them and then they beat them. So it's like 1-1. If you think about it, it's kind of like the NBA playoffs where it's a best of 7 and they tied it up. But in football, it's only one game. But in the Big 12, there are no divisions, and the two top teams clinch a berth in the Big 12 title game. So they ended up doing that. They lost to K State. Kansas State is a top 10 ranked team. Now, I think Ohio State deserved it because they was 11-1 in the regular season. Ohio State was ranked 5th ahead of Alabama in the college football playoff rankings. Alabama was 10-2 in the regular season. They was ranked 6th behind Ohio State and TCU. Alabama didn't even make the SEC championship. They lost to LSU, who has 4 losses now in the season. They lost to Texas A&M, got blown out at Texas A&M, and then they got blown out by Georgia 50-30 in the SEC championship. So y'all tell me, did Alabama deserve to get over TCU and Ohio State with that resume? Alabama's best wins are over Mississippi State and Texas, which was a backup quarterback, which the way they won that game was controversial. Now, Alabama barely beat Texas A&M, and for those of you that don't know, Texas A&M did not even win enough games to be bowl eligible, so they wouldn't even be playing in a bowl game. And like I said, I know you may have disagreed with me. Let me know in the comments what you think. And I know Alabama fans might not be happy, but as a future sports analyst, I have to tell what it is, what I think. And that's not me hating. I think Nick Saban is the greatest college football coach of all time. But this year they did not deserve to get in over TCU and Ohio State. They may be better than TCU, but they don't deserve to get in over TCU. Now, for the New Year's Six bowl matchups, the rest of them, like I said, Tennessee is ranked number 6, so they one of the first 2 out with Alabama. They will be playing number 7 Clemson, who won the ACC championship over North Carolina, who I predicted would beat North Carolina. And Tennessee will play Clemson in the Orange Bowl, 8 p.m. December 30th. So, about, of course, a couple days before New Year's, they played them in the Orange Bowl. So, orange versus orange. Who is the true orange? Which one? You know what I'm saying? So, which one you think? I think orange versus orange. Like I said, I ain't gonna get my prediction yet, but in my mind, I think I know who I will pick in this matchup right here. But it's still an interesting matchup between Tennessee and Clemson because DJ Uiagalelei, the former starting quarterback, is in the transfer portal, and they will be starting a freshman and Cade Cook, I can't pronounce his name, but a true freshman quarterback in that game. Next would be the All-State Sugar Bowl, which will be December 31st, New Year's Eve at noon. It will be number 5 Alabama versus number 9 Kansas State. This Kansas State won the Big 12 championship over TCU, number 3 TCU, who will be playing in the college football playoff. Now, like I said, Alabama missed out on the college football playoff, but they will be playing in this New Year's 6. They will be playing in a different New Year's 6 bowl game, but that's not a semifinal. So, for those that don't know, is that the 6 New Year's Eve, New Year's 6 bowl games are the Rose Bowl, the Sugar, the Fiesta Bowl, the Orange, the Cotton Bowl, and the Rose Bowl. So they rotate, every year of semifinals, of which 2 will be a semifinal game. So this year, the 2 semifinal games are the Peach Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl. But Alabama will be playing Kansas State. So I don't know if Bryce Young and Will Anderson will be playing. If I was Alabama, they better come to play because Deuce Vaughn, even though he's 5'6", a little bit shorter than me because I'm 5'7". We both about weight 170, so they better come to play because if not, Deuce Vaughn will be running for 200 plus yards on their defense if they don't come to play. Because I know Alabama, I know the standard is to win national championships. A friend of mine who's a big Alabama fan says that's their standard, which is fine, but it's still a blessing to play in a New Year's Six bowl game. And if they don't come to play, Kansas State will beat them. I'm not saying that's my prediction, but Kansas State will beat them if Alabama does not come to play, depending on if Bryce Young or Will Anderson play in that game, the two best players. Next, we have the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, which we played in Dallas Cowboys Stadium, aka Jerry World. That will be January 2nd, 2023 at 1 p.m. That will be number 16 Tulane, the champions of the American Conference, who I picked over UCF. UCF in the American Championship game. They be playing USC, number 10 USC, who lost to Utah. I picked USC. I could admit I was wrong. I thought USC would come out and win, but they ended up losing again to Utah, but they will still be playing in the New Year's Six bowl game against Tulane, which that would be an interesting matchup. I don't know. I don't think Caleb Williams will be playing in that game because he got hurt, but we'll see on the updates when it gets closer to this matchup if Caleb Williams will be playing, but he's also a Heisman candidate, and Tulane is a real good team, which they're the highest ranked group of five. For those who don't know, every year a group of five team gets a chance at a New Year's Six bowl if they don't make the college football playoffs. So whoever out of the American, the MAC, the Conference USA, Mountain West, and the Conference USA, MAC, pretty much out of those conferences, out of group of five, that the highest rank gets a bid in one of these bowl games. And this year it's Tulane in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. Next, we have the Rose Bowl, which will also be January 2nd, 2023, but at 5 p.m. This consists of the back-to-back Pac-12 champions, number 8 Utah versus number 11 Penn State. Now, I didn't see Penn State getting in this one, but the Rose Bowl usually is Pac-12 versus Big Ten. And I think will be a pretty decent matchup, maybe. Utah ended up winning the Pac-12 championship game again for the second year in a row. I thought USC would win that, but hey, I'm wrong. But those right there are the New Year's Six bowl matchups. Let me know which one in the comments. Which one is y'all favorite? What y'all looking up for? Again, is Tennessee versus Clemson in the Orange Bowl. That will be December 30th. Alabama versus Kansas State in the Sugar Bowl, December 31st. Excuse me. And then next is the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. Tulane versus USC, and then you got Utah versus Penn State in the Rose Bowl. So there's some pretty good New Year's Six bowl matchups we have coming up. Now, some of y'all don't know that the final college football rankings came out. I will say the list of the 25 teams. And if your team is in these rankings, you can comment down below and let me know, do you agree with your team's ranking? Should it be higher? Is it just right? Or you feel like they're too high? Which I wouldn't advise you to say that, but Georgia's number 1. Michigan is ranked 2. TCU number 3. Ohio State ranked 4th. Alabama 5. Tennessee 6th. Clemson 7th. Utah 8th. Kansas State 9. USC 10. Penn State 11th. Washington ranked 12th. Florida State ranked 13th. Oregon State ranked 14th. Oregon is ranked 15th. Tulane is 16th. LSU is ranked 17th. UCLA 18th. South Carolina ranked 19th. Texas 20. Notre Dame 21 or ranked 21st. Mississippi State is ranked 22nd. North Carolina State is ranked 23rd, and followed up by Troy at 24 and UTSA at 25. Now, I think this pretty much is a good list, you know. Now, I'll say one thing what shocked me is Oregon State being higher than Oregon on this list. But to be fair, Oregon State did beat Oregon in the last game of the season, which is called the Civil War. Now, I know that for those that don't watch the Pac-12, that's an in-state rivalry between Oregon and Oregon State. And this year, Oregon State came back and beat Oregon 38-31 in that game, and kept Oregon from playing in the Pac-12 championship against USC. So if Oregon would have played, USC probably would have been in the college football playoff. So that's a lot of chaos. And the college football playoff committee, I'm pretty sure they like chaos. As fans, as a fan of sports, future sports analyst, I like a little drama, make the college football playoff more interesting. I look forward to the 12-team format, so that way it can be even more interesting. Teams will be able to host home playoff games, so fans will get to see their teams play in the playoffs at home, host a playoff game at home. The highest ranked conference champions will get a bye. So, that's how it pretty much will work. So, yeah, it's already getting close. It's about to be bowl season. As some of the games get closer, I'll be able to make my predictions on some of the bowl matchups. Not every bowl game, I'll tell you that, because it's a lot. But the college football playoff, the national championship, I'll be making my predictions about on that. Any news as far as transfer portals, stuff like that, I will be reporting to y'all on my show, another episode. And college football won't be the only thing we talk about. I'll tell y'all one thing that will be coming up is my Lakers, Anthony Davis. He has been on a monster. Next episode, I will be talking about him. Is he an MVP candidate? Is he Defensive Player of the Year? So I want y'all to stay tuned for that. But that will be all for today's show. I want all y'all to stay blessed. Keep out for these bowl games. Cheer your team on, whether they win or lose. Comment, like, share, comment my channel, these videos. Whether like it or dislike it, but we're gonna continue to get better as I'm filming and breaking down these games, news. So I want to be the voice of the voiceless. I know y'all see people like Stephen A. Smith and everybody talking, but can't get your opinion on my show or channel. You can give your opinion, whether I'm right or wrong. You can give your opinion. But I appreciate everybody watching, and I'll catch y'all again soon on my podcast. Thank you.